What's up YouTube? It's Sab and we're back with another commentary video here. Today we're going to be looking at a 19 Caverns, as we haven't covered Maisara Caverns yet. This one was a bit scuffed. It's with pugs, except I know the tank Rulpy, but we weren't in a call together. And so I made some goober mistakes in this, just gonna get that out of the way. But we were still able to time the key despite not really knowing where it was going. So let's jump right into it. Right off the bat here, kind of what you're going to see in a lot of these like meta pulls is that tanks are no longer mammoth maxing, which is good for us because the mammoth roar does physical damage and it will murder you. So any route that is avoiding the mammoths and looking to get the count elsewhere is going to be a much safer route, not just for you. Also, I totally screw up my damage here, and I remember saying like out loud that I screwed up my damage because I got distracted doing something and missed getting the meteor in combustion. Whoops. So you'll see here, we saw that we got targeted with the spear, right? So we hit alter time, just because that is the easiest way to kind of fix that problem. And the Soul Eater is obviously the prio target here, but usually like in a group with a Dev DH and a DK, they're going to be prioing off of that mob. So I kind of swapped to some of the other things a little bit earlier just to try to make sure everything dies evenly. Circle, the DH gets potatoed, get owned. And we got through that pull without proccing caught or without using our ice cold, which is really good for us. So going into any of these Hexguardian pulls, we are making sure that if we get magma surge, we're just going to commit the ice cold right away, especially if there is anything overlapping with it. You can see I set my focus here on the circle. Cast goes off. If we get this, I noticed that I got targeted with the cast there again, so you see that we just alter that because that's a big source of damage. And we could be barriering some of this ticking damage. You can see here I get the kick, or I knock into kick, which was not good. I should have just kicked and then knocked, but I really wanted to stop the shrink cast going off. And this is just a bit of, uncoordination in pugs. We're not in comms calling these kicks, and so the kick targets are a bit weird, but that's why I'm just kicking as soon as my stuff comes off of cooldown there, so that everybody knows that I've got the kick. If you get this, the healer dispelled me, so I'm still holding on to this dwarf, but I think I probably should have just dwarfed that. Oh well. So we get through this pull without getting targeted by that magma surge, which is really good because that means we can ice cold the mammoth roars, and we're probably gonna get two is usually how this goes. You're going to want a combination of defensives for this. Ice cold will carry one of the roars, and barrier altar will carry the other. So what we're going to do here is we are looking to see this roar happening, and I get firelocked. Wow, look at that. I'm playing like dog shit. Getting firelocked on combustion is very bad, as many of you probably don't need to be told. That's really just going to nuke my damage on this particular pack, as I missed multiple GCDs in my combustion. And here we're going to barrier and alter, and just alter back to full HP. Fortunately, I've seen some people do the pull with the headhunter over in the right-hand side. If you were to get speared at the same time as that going off, you are in trouble. So you would want to think about if you see yourself getting targeted by the spear while one of these roars is going off. I get the barrier up just in time there. You would want to invis the spear cast, have the roar go off, right? Just to kind of desync the two. It's the overlap that kills you, not the individual damage sources. So you could, alter back to full HP, take the next spear, even if you got the next cast. All right, this pull, I was still. This was my warm-up key. This was a mistake because this was a Monday, and I was just sending my 19. Okay, so the DK dies to something, and we're getting kicks. We're flame striking. It's fine. It's a 5-pack pull, right? Or five target pull. I almost jump into that circle. And we're altering here just because the DK is not here. There's a very high chance that we're going to get Necrotic Wave targeted on us. So I'm just pre-altering so that if I take some damage, I can kind of like heal off the heal absorb. And I think I get hit by one of these. I think I get, yeah, I don't see that circle. I thought I was out of it. Proc my cot. Pretty bad. And then getting topped off here. Definitely was like split focus, trying to get my focus over to the Hexer and getting that kick. And so far it's okay. And I get hit by that one and die. So no need to B-res as the pole is kind of dying, kind of a waste of a B-res in my opinion. So I just take the res right away and we're running back. So, all right, can we learn anything from this? One is even when stuff gets hectic, right? Basically what killed me was I was trying to get off the start of my combustion and not taking stock of where I was relative to where the circles were, right? So my mental focus got split from the mechanics on the ground because I was trying to get my damage out, right? So I should not be afraid. That's kind of the takeaway from this, to maybe delay the damage by a second or two, just to make sure I'm not going to get clipped by stuff, right? It got a little bit hectic. I wasn't expecting the chain. My brain's trying to parse that information. That would be my takeaway from that, right? Hey, just make sure everything's good to go before you start planting. Now, this is a pretty standard pull in most higher Maisaras right now, where you're grabbing this Hexguardian with some warding mass, and you want to let these shrink casts go off because then a stop will interrupt them, right? So I'm handling this. I'm ready for it, right? So you can see me toggle over. I'm not worrying about the damage yet. I wait for the shrink cast to start, and you don't want to let them channel, right? So by doing the knock there, I stop one. One's still going to need a kick. I get the debuff, so I dwarf it. And now we are doing our damage, right? It's okay if we have to delay a little bit. We're still going to get our full combustion out on this pack, right? It's not going to die before our cooldowns get cycled through here. It's on a 19, we got time. Now, the knock was fine, but just with that going down, right? You can invis the shrink off of you. So that's exactly what I do here, is the shrink's on me, and we're not in comms, right? I don't know if someone's about to get the stop here. So as soon as I recognize that it's going off, invis, right? Get the mechanic off me, kick another one that I see, and that kind of just keeps us all safe. And apparently just my brew is doing insane damage on this pole, by the way. So we're getting ticked a bit here, but really there's no need to press defensives on the ticking damage. It's the overlap of the ticking damage and other stuff that kills you, right? So we could have gotten that shrink with the supernova. I think I stop a cast here because it just seems like we were a little disjointed. Cast going off. More mobs get in. We're going into combustion here. Getting the kicks on the Hexer when we have it. And I think somewhere along here I started to lock the heck in on this dungeon because we're pre-moving, we're watching, we get the kick on that Hex. Probably didn't need to shimmer that, but we're just kind of sitting on it, right? It's fine, might as well just shimmer out, keep the cast going. Right now, we're looking at the below 30% mobs, and we are just trying to fire Flame Strike, right? Most efficient way to kill the rest of this pack. If it was just like bears or something, I would be pyroing the Soul Eater, but because the Berserkers need to die too, right? That's why you're Flame Striking in 4 targets instead of hitting the prio target with pyro. Okay, so on this boss, usually the melee like to sit on Necrax because he jumps, the Murogen jumps. So what I would recommend doing is just hit Murogen the entire time. And you can dwarf this disease off if you're a dwarf. If not, and you get disease dispels, that's very useful. Now there is, I don't know if I do this particular timing here in this dungeon, but I do have a system for this boss now, because the time between, yeah, I don't do it here. The time between these barrages is slightly more than 40 seconds. So if you are playing Sun Fury Fire, you can alter before the barrage cast starts every time, and that way, if it goes on you, you should have a full HP alter that you can use. If it doesn't go on you, you haven't wasted it, because it will come back again before the next barrage, right? You can see the Quill Storm's like 30 seconds out, and there's barrage, right? So we're gonna have alter up for the next barrage. I'm not doing it here. I think I discovered this or put this into, tested it on another key more recently than this particular 19, but that will allow you to ice cold one, and then you can do some alter for your full health bar into barrier or something to live the next one that you get, and you will always have the barrier alter for this mechanic. So as long as stuff isn't going totally off the rails, this will be an option for you. If you are ever not topped going into it, that is where I would commit the ice cold, because then, you know, if your alter that you were pressing beforehand is not at 100% and it's less than that, then you're going to get less value, and there's a chance you just kind of fall over from the barrage damage because it hurts pretty hard. So we're going through here. We lust as soon as it comes up because of timer reasons on this dungeon, right? There are a couple different ways to do Maisara. One is to lust the, like, kind of on CD, and then you will get 4 total lusts in this dungeon. If you delay this to do the big pull after this boss, you're pretty much locked into only getting that lust and 1 more for the rest of the dungeon. And most people are going to tell you that lusting the last boss for the burn is going to save you a lot of time. But also, a more recent addition is to pull a bunch of trash onto the second boss and lust that all down. That's a very efficient way to get count. Depends on how much burst damage your comp does. If you think you can one phase the last boss if you have lust, then that could be a very large time save to do it that way. So, okay, I get clipped by a circle there. Not great. Caught proc for no reason. Maybe I'm not 100% locked in yet, but we're doing good damage here. The pot wasn't quite available for the lust, but I believe I will just send it, or maybe I hold it. At this point, I don't know. 6 mil on Necrax. I've swapped over here to Necrax because we're trying to kill them evenly, of course. And here I believe I do just, I should send the combustion. Yeah, you know that there's going to be some RP while the door opens, while you're running to the next pack here. So even if the combustion does not get its full value, you'll have it basically for where you need it on the next pull. Let's see if I'm right about that. And we're just waiting. Wow, look at this cool door, man. I love RP. All right, I'm not able to pull it off on this run because Rule P is too fast, but if you can get ahead of your tank and get the spell steals on the skirmishers before they get in combat with your group, it actually won't do any damage on that very first purge. So I believe we were supposed to skip the Gnarled in here, but somehow we got him. Oh well. So we see these shades. We're going to make sure we're getting kicks on them. Hopefully I pot this. I do. Also, very recently I'm testing out targeted flame strike, and I'm finding that I might like it better in certain dungeons. If you guys have a strong opinions about targeted flame strike versus at cursor flame strike, which is all I've ever been used to for the longest time, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Okay, so here we're just the DH gets DH gets aggro. And here is kind of a scary pull. I invised a cast a moment ago. That was technically a mistake because you really want to have invis for this, as it will get you out of it. Thankfully, my tank, I believe, Tiger's Lust me. Yes. Yeah. So if you can save invis to remove yourself from the sacrifice cast, highly recommend. Now, we're doing this a bit scuffed. This is a very... I don't want to say inefficient, but like we're kind of just chaining from pack to pack, right? And fire, you definitely want to be able to plan like when stuff is getting used, right? Also, I'm trying to stagger the dispels here. So like I see us full, I get 2. I see us full HP again, right? Somebody else I think purges 1. And you just don't want 3 of these, skirmisher shields to all pop at the same time, because they will murder you. So going back, because I'm not really sure how we're going to be pulling this and at what cadence, whenever you're not sure, your best bet is almost certainly to just combust on CD, unless it's very clear that there's not any mobs left in the pull and this isn't getting chained, right? So because it looks like we're just killing Roxol and moving on, I wait for a bit, and then now that we're getting some more mobs, now we can send again, right? We do a little bit of fire starter, and then we're in our combustion. I get the Spirit Rend, so I just press Alter just so like I've got something going if for some reason I get chunked, but really there's nothing that should be doing lots of damage here, and I actually cancel it just because it was going to expire and that tornado was moving over where my Alter was. A quick reminder that if you don't have an easy way to cancel your Alter, you should highly consider just setting up a macro of some time that is cancel aura Alter time, key binding that, or just making it something that you can press easily. You want that option to remove alter times if you're not going to gain anything from it, right? Or if you might snap back at a really bad time. So we're just going through here. Right now, the timer's looking pretty sus, but we've got, we got the OP DK, we got the OP Devour DH. I'm abusing the busted classes here. I blink into a little ghosty guy because I'm bad, and we're gonna hit the soul render for a bit, and then we're looking for purges, right? So get the 2 because it looks like we're pretty full HP. I barely walk out of that. I think I miss my kick. Yeah, I do. Ugh. Invis that Shadow Frost Blast that's casting on me. I'm like, wait, yeah, this is so bad for my damage. I eventually go back to combusting into the defender, but I was trying to solve that soul render there. And we're getting some skirmisher ticks here, but we're, doing okay. Going to alter that damage there. Barrier after, just because there wasn't anything that looked like it was targeting me, but it's fine. We're picking the shade here, and we're just flame striking, or we're fireballing for some reason instead of scorching. I don't know why we're doing that. Back on the soul render. Don't know how that tornado doesn't hit me. I think here it would be better for me to be scorching off of one of the warriors and just flame striking instead of having to wait a couple % on the soul render to do the same thing. So that's something I could be. This has come up in other videos too, and something that I personally just need to do better at, I think, is scorch sniping low HP mobs, because the actual like fireball or scorch. The actual fireball or scorch casts are very minimal damage. It's the hot streak spenders that are most of it. So even if you're technically doing a bit less filler damage by not fireballing the target you're trying to kill, the fact that you are able to just scorch spender, scorch IV spender, you know, over and over again, you're going to do significantly more to them over time. Okay, so we're playing Firestarter again. We're going to pot this because it's up. And we're just doing our damage. What actually procs me there? I remember this when it happened, but what the oh. Okay, this purple swirly thing is something that the that's something that the who does that cast, man? What? Where did that come from? Not gonna lie, I have no idea where that came from. Maybe did the shadow binder like die and it, yeah, let's see here. So the binder oh yeah, right before he died there's that little purple trail, but I think because he died before it made the circle on the ground. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. It happens. Hey, that's what COD's for, right? It's for the oopsies. It's for the good games. It's for the vibe-coded mechanics. Okay, we're just scorching and flame striking. You can totally let these reanimations kind of, you can see there I waited for all three and then just hit the supernova because there's no rush, right? You can just try to tag multiple. At this point, it was feeling pretty cursed, but we've got lust coming up in 40 seconds. I wonder if we make it to the boss before it. Like, if you can get through this pull and then tag a bunch of these reanimated warriors to pull onto the third boss and lust it, it is very efficient, right? But we are going kind of slow through here for that. Okay, we're just doing our thing. We're hitting the soul render so that we don't get cheesed by the bound defender shield stuff. Obviously, you do want to kill them kind of even, so if someone's not killing the bound defender, at some point you're going to want to swap, but obviously having something under 30% HP so you can flame strike is nice. Yeah, so you'd want to be like on the boss lusting like right now. And I think we kill this defender, we grab some more warriors, and we're attacking the boss. And I just send the lust because we still have time for two, right? We still have two lusts. So and for this boss, okay, you're going to want to get full value for altar and barrier. All right, getting full value for barrier is easy. Getting full value for altar is not. So what you can do is right before they're about to hit altar, right? Pop and then check your health. You can see I got big heals. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a revival from the monk or something. So I'm letting this altar go so that I can wait for the next pop and then take the altar. Boom, 100% HP. Good. And now we can barrier the next thing, right? Now we don't want to barrier now Because if we barrier now, it just gets eaten by the ticking damage, right? You can see everyone's just getting chunked for a bit. We don't want our barrier to get eaten by this random ticking damage. We want to use it on the stuff that actually kills us, which are these Rest Phantom explosions, right? So, we get the two furthest from the boss, so we're going to bring them together. And people get their wires crossed a little bit. So we barrier that first one, and now we're kind of just watching our health, but we're fine. Healer's goated. One more thing I want to point out on this boss. You want to combust right off the bat. The reason being is that if you combust right off the bat, it will be up for this first necrotic convergence. There's about a minute between when you pull the boss and when they cast their first necrotic convergence. If you have combustion for this, you can absolutely power through this shield almost solo, right? So, all right, we're watching our health here. We can health pot if we need to. This altar is actually really bad, and I cancel it as soon as I see myself get below like 50%, because what I should have done with health was health pot altered. But because I'd have to check the logs on this, but because I have cooldowns lined up with that, I believe we get through it pretty fast. What was I at before the shield? So on this necrotic convergence, 12-9, 9-7, 9-3. So you can see I pass up the DH. And when we get through the shield, I've basically done 2 mil, essentially. So, big jump. It will not line up for the ones after the first. And so you need to make a decision on your healers CDs. Like, if your party is doing big damage and sending your combustion on cooldown will help blast the boss. So we're gonna, barrier just came up, so I barrier that, and now we're just watching our health, and we seem pretty healthy, so we're just going to alter and take it back. So you have a decision here. If you follow my recommended sequencing of pressing combustion, you have a decision here on whether you should just press combustion or whether you should hold it for the necrotic convergence. It's a long hold if you do. If you think that sending combustion will kill the boss before this goes off, then you can. But if you don't think you're going to kill it before this goes off, so we health pot there, we saw ourselves getting low, right? And the healer's kind of Didn't look like we were, so now I'm good to combust. I'm doing it just a bit early here. It's still good shield damage, right? And unfortunate overlap of Ice Cold and the shield from the monk. We both kind of had the same idea. I'm holding potion here for last boss, but I could have pressed it and I still would have gotten a use on in the dungeon. So I think holding this potion here was a mistake. I should have just ripped it. And you can see, you know, even sending the whole combustion, boss still had some health coming out of that, right? Maybe we could have killed it if I... Maybe if I combustion... I do about 4 mil, probably, if I would have combustioned earlier. I still don't think we do. I think the boss lives with just a little bit of HP. Yeah, a little bit. And then we would not have damage for this, and this would be way, 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 way scarier, right? So, snap decision that you guys need to make. Okay, so we're trying to space out these skirmishers, right? While it's just the skirmishers, the only thing that could potentially damage the party other than that are these shade casts going off. So as long as you stagger them, it's all good, right? And I almost get hit by that bouncing shit. We react fast enough. And that's fine. I probably should have had altar going for those shields going off. And finishing these shades is like top priority because the bats just kind of shoot shit at the tank. Unfortunately, I get pinged by one there. Just reaction barrier. And I'm trying to find skirmishers to spell steal. We get 2. This is pretty dangerous because there's multiple Spirit Rend casts going off. And when I'm trying to... I get 1 more spell steal just to put us at... We only have 1 shield pop later here. Invis that because I was getting targeted by a Spirit Rend, and there's really like nothing else I need to save Invis for, right? Now I pot this because I think I finally reached the decision, oh, I'm gonna get 1 more potion anyway in this dungeon, so I might as well pot here. But I think I should have just, maybe if I would have potted with combustion on the boss, maybe we would have beaten that last necrotic convergence actually. Although I think the pot was desynced from combustion initially if I would have pressed it right away. Okay, so we're powering through this. And I get owned by the shield. Directional shields, man. What a mechanic. What a mechanic. All right. Something you should absolutely do in this is all run up together. So typically the way I've seen it is, you know, you all go stand on the corner, and then when someone pings, you start running. This is rough. I will tell you right away. You can see that I just ripped the ice cold. We do not want to combust this guy, though. It's so unnecessary, right? But altar going there just to make sure, because the monk was like tapped, right? And unfortunately, he gets in combat. Okay, so you have quite a bit of time that you can delay combustion in this boss. And if you're in comms with the other DPS, I would ask them at the start of this, especially if they're 1.5-minute classes. The 1.5-minute classes can press their cooldowns on this first set, and then I believe they will still get their cooldowns back for the burn. But you, as a 1-minute class, can actually delay your combustion for this Crushed Souls, the second one. Now, I have quite a bit of damage for that first one. We delete it, right? The reason why I say this is it always seems like the second set is a struggle, all right? Most people have their cooldowns going on the first one, and this second set is always really slow. So you hit the boss, spread ignite, and then you just need to actually kill these, right? If you're not in CDs, you should press buttons. So we're just trying to scorch, and we barely get that guy. Nice. So see, our combustion is already coming up here because that so that's what I'm saying. You could delay here. It was like 120 when we landed, right? So that's the whole 130s will have their stuff on pull, but you can potentially delay, right? And we're getting owned here. I health pot because that's happening. And then just do your stuff, right? And this timing is actually really good for us too, because you're almost forced into that delay. Let's see if that meteor lands. Yeah, it did. Okay. You're almost forced into this timing. So we've got a minute before the next roar. Do not hold this next combustion. You do not need to. And as a matter of fact, you will have damage for the even numbered Crushed Souls again. So this one will be a struggle because the minute 30s won't have their stuff and you won't have your stuff. There's no way around that. You need to press your stuff on the burn, obviously. But here we're just doing the same thing. We're spreading ignite, and then we're going to do whatever we can, which is not much out of our cooldowns. And we press combustion here just to help finish those. And now we've got this next Crushed Souls, right? So always try to stack the circles. And if here, because we just have an ignite, a big ignite here built up on the boss, you can see like the ignite burnout just absolutely crushes that set, right? Easy. And yeah, 35 seconds on our combustion, but by the time this roar actually goes off, and by the time we actually land from this 6 or 7 second flight time, you will have your stuff, right? So I wouldn't delay combustion any longer than I did, but you can see we still have 23 seconds of the buff, and our combustion's coming up, and we potion. No, we don't potion, because he's got 2 million health and he's dead, right? So that should give you some nice lineups for the second and third boss, and hopefully you guys found this really informative. As also, I think we still have a couple more dungeons I need to cover: Skyreach, Algathar. But we'll continue going through. You should banish me, says Rulfi. We'll continue going through all the dungeons here, and raid content soon. I'm hoping that we kill Crown next week. I'm going to do a deep dive into Mythic Crown. I've been cooking some stuff for that boss, so hopefully I will have some real meaty info for you all. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Appreciate your support. If you're looking for more of it, drop a like, drop a subscribe, all the typical YouTube stuff. And I'll catch you guys all out there on the next one.